So I'm going to just start with the most obvious question. Can you tell me about air sex? I've never seen this, heard of it before.
Yeah, well, air sex is something that started in Japan, of course. That Tim League, who created the Alamo, he and his wife started the Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas, which is sort of like, you know, the new era of film going. And so that started here in Austin about 12 years ago, and so they just have this amazingly irreverent attitude towards everything, movies, you know, spectacle, all that. And so they, I guess, just saw some YouTube videos of these lonely Japanese men in bars, like acting out these sexual scenarios.
Like mime sex.
Yeah, yeah. And so they decided, let's bring that to Austin and put it on in our theater, and then it just sort of took off. I mean, now it's like it's a national sort of, you know, thing, and there's like chapters in Las Vegas and New York and LA, and every year they come to Austin for the Air Sex World Championships that happen. I think they just happened like a few months ago. But yeah, it's like, I describe it as like air guitar meets karaoke meets mime meets, you know, perversion. And yeah, so the concept is you choose a song, you get up on stage, you act out some sexual scenario just by yourself, all through mime. You have to keep your clothes on. But you know, it's not really supposed to be sexy necessarily. It's really more supposed to be like entertaining and creative and fun, and like, you know, do something that is totally physically impossible, but has some sort of narrative to it.
It's a form of storytelling.
It is a form of storytelling. It's storytelling through air humping. Did
you make them do any research? Did you guys do Air Sex 101? Because you don't really have to do it in the movie. You guys are safe.
He does, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I get tricked into it.
Yeah, yeah. Did we have you do any?
I watched some YouTube, just out of my own morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I lucked out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would have had fun with that. I would be down.
Yeah, and I did. I feel bad about this, but I had this concept throughout the shoot that for our ending credits, we were gonna have like stills of everyone, the whole cast and a couple of the crew members, doing air sex performances, you know. But I mean, it was just logistically going to be like way too hard to do it, and like just the tone of the ending of the movie would not really work with that. You know, it's like at the end of the movie we sort of passed through like the broad comedic thing, and we're sort of more into the relationships. But in my mind, that's like, you know, that's like my Cannonball Run style ridiculous ending credits.
But we will have forever handshakes.
Yes, that's true.
There was a moment of bonding a couple days before filming to kind of, Bryan created this awesome kind of 3-day bonding intensive and all these things, and we each have handshakes with each other that I feel like I'll see Zach or Sarah or Mike like 20 years down the line, and we'll just do this handshake, nothing spoken, and just leave.
Yeah, it's this idea that I came with on the last movie of like having each of the pairings with the main actors work out some silly, like elaborate handshake that involves like spinning around and like, you know, high-fiving and, you know, just sort of, I don't know, as this way to just sort of break the ice between them, because, you know, the 4 leads didn't know each other when we shot the movie, and we had like 2 days with them all here in the same space before we had to start shooting, and it was like, these are supposed to be like 4 friends who've known each other for like 5+ years. So
they should have a secret handshake.
Yeah, like let's just come up with some, you know, ridiculous.
It'd be funny if we did it in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these characters know each other.
Yeah.
Boom.
That would become such a cliche. You always see it in movies, the elaborate 45-second handshake.
It doesn't creep its way into that opening montage at all?
No, I think,
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
When did you shoot that montage?
We
Before or
shot
after you shot?
2 weeks ago.
We shot that in...
Wouldn't be surprised.
In January, and we brought that... It was like going back into production, because we brought like the 4 main actors back into town to just shoot like, you know, 5 years of friendship over the course of like a day. But then it was also like Michael had just moved out to LA like in January, and so we had actually one of our camera operators just meet up with him there and like go around to like tourist sites and take pictures, and the pictures of Ashley in New York are just like her own pictures. I just asked her, are there pictures of you in New York where you look happy?
Yeah,
you know?
It was like me at NYU, or like me with my boyfriend, and my boyfriend's been like cut out of the photo.
Yeah,
just me.
And then also like when she was, she was doing press for The Last Exorcism 2,
yes,
like, just literally a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and so I was like, okay, I need to like Skype pictures of each one of you.
Of a Skype breakup or a Skype fight.
Yeah. And so it was like she and I on FaceTime.
I'm in New
She had
Orleans.
just arrived at her hotel. And I was like, Ashley, do you have like 5 minutes where you could pretend that I am Michael and that we're breaking up or whatever over Skype?
Yeah, yeah.
How is it having a movie with two characters that very clearly had a very intense relationship, yet you guys are rarely in the same scene together? Is that tough for you as a writer to sell, and you guys as actors to sell?
What you guys answer that first?
I think that might have been why the credit sequence was added, because people wanted more investment in our relationship. There's like the scene in the car where we're clearly upset about. I'm clearly upset about it. Zach's upset about his about his relationship, but it was honestly like in the movie. It was more of my arc with Zach was really my story in a way, even though my character was totally preoccupied with other stuff.
Yeah, and that was in the original script that came to me. That was not to give away the ending, but I mean that was the concept that it was like, here's a movie about a relationship between two people who literally never see each other until the very end of the movie, and so it gave me an opportunity to do this like really fun sort of ensemble thing where it's like, this is what's happening on this side of town with this pairing, this is what's happening on this side of town with this pairing, and so like sort of the running subtext between them is like, the weight of this relationship that's just sort of hanging over their heads, and that was part of the reason why we added the credit sequence, because people didn't feel it as much as we wanted. So I don't know. I mean, and like they really didn't see each other hardly at all throughout the movie.
I think that was something really cool that happened in terms of in our like weekend of bonding ish.
Squeeze right in there.
Hey guys, what is up?
If you guys could get nice and cozy, my frame is pretty now.
I'm feeling great. I lost my voice.
Let's roll.
I think that was really cool. In that couple days before we began filming was that Bryan gave us exercises as to why we had broken up and the breakup letters, which kind of helped just establish why.
Yeah, he asked us to write each other
breakup.
The first thing I did was I asked them to like write breakup letters to each other individually, and just and then like she got to keep his. And
I invented an affair with a woman. I was like, when I found out that you were sleeping with
I drew a picture of a penis on mine.
That's true.
Yeah,
there were two penises
Sarah's
in my
was
letter.
like,
that sounds appropriate.
Here's a tiny penis, you. Here's a big penis, not you.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Best letter ever.
Like, I'm just extrapolating from the script.
Yeah.
So you're not the kind of director that likes to rehearse, like standard rehearsals?
No,
it sounds like you have a lot of other ways to prepare.
I would love to rehearse. But that's the thing, is that I don't feel like rehearsal is really for like what they're gonna say, like what's gonna happen in each individual scene. Because when you're working with like great professional actors, like we'll figure that out on the day. It's like I don't want you to know exactly how you're gonna say every line. Because it's like, to keep it spontaneous, we'll figure that out on the day. But really, what it's about is like, let's as quickly and as efficiently as we can in an accelerated way create the relationship that exists before we meet these people. So that's what all the silly exercises were for. And it was also just to like, get us comfortable with each other, because if we're all strangers, me included with them, like we're gonna have to spend a lot of time together over the next, few weeks. We're gonna have to do a lot of intimate stuff together, because it's intimate with me and with the whole crew too. So like, let's, in this small amount of time, let's try to become as friendly as we can, and just be comfortable, so that once it's time to like, hump the air, like we're not afraid of looking silly around each other, you know? So that's why I like to do silly stuff. Like We played badminton too in my backyard.
That was so much
You were
fun. That
just
was
obsessed.
silly.
You were just obsessed with
I
badminton.
had a very a heavy badminton period last year, so.
Well, from badminton to speaking of intimacy,
Yeah.
air sex, real sex. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be really embarrassed because I'm not an actor. You guys are actors. I mean, do you get nervous and embarrassed doing things like that?
I love getting naked in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was
That's the answer I was
naked,
expecting.
like in the hallway.
Basically
Everybody
every-
begged me to put my clothes on.
Every time it's a close up, she's
I'm
naked
not wearing
underneath.
any pants, and I like that. It makes me
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
free and spontaneous.
Yeah. It was a little.
That was my first, I think, simulated sex scene.
Mine
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not for Sarah. perhaps her first consensual.
There we go. That's true.
She was in Last House on the Left, which is a movie that I can't see because
You can't see it 'cause
I just don't want to see terrible
Brian's
things.
pretty
happen.
fond of me, and I get pretty brutally butt raped in that movie. So
I've seen that movie
doesn't
dozens of times, and I still can't like watch that part the same like without being I don't know creeped out.
I don't need to see that. It's like
Nope.
be like seeing my sister get raped. I don't need that in my life.
Here's another excellent transition. Going from that, I have to return to air sex for you. Is that choreographed, or do things like that just come to your mind?
No, Brian helped me a lot with that because at the beginning when we first started filming, Brian was like, "Yeah, you guys, come up with your ideas and your choreography and start thinking about it." And I was like, "Yeah, oh my god, okay, what the fuck?" And sorry, and then the night before, I was like, "Brian, 911." Meet me in my hotel room. We gotta go over my moves. I'm freaking out. And so it's like cut to me and Brian like with the music, like figuring out different moves and this and
yeah. And it was like this is a gross idea. I don't know. I think you should take out your. What if you took out your tampon? I don't know.
And I was
you
like,
were
yes, let's fucking do it.
And some people I think don't quite understand what she's doing. But
They don't. They think I have like a
like you're pulling out
like a really long pube or something.
Oh no!
Yeah, but for those watching, that's what it's supposed to be.
It's a tampon.
It's a tampon.
I'm taking it out of my vagina.
And putting it
It's
in his
open to
mouth.
Put it in his
interpretation,
mouth.
whatever
Yeah.
the audience wants to think of it.
Yeah.
I smell a lot of good DVD extras from all of this.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about filming in Austin? Because I mean, Austin-based festival. I'm also noticing a lot of the same cast members from all these Austin films
Well,
I'm
the
watching.
Austin Chronicle, which is our great like weekly newspaper here, they did this super cool thing where it's the Austin actor bingo card, where they put all these, and not just Austin actors, actually Sarah's in it.
I'm in the bingo?
Yeah, you're in the bingo card.
Cool.
So the idea is that like
Gotta show my
if
mom.
you see movies, you just like each one of the squares is like an actor, and there's some actors who are like literally in 6 movies playing at the festival, and I think Sarah's in 2, and actually like of our cast, if you watch our movie, you can hit 6 stamps on the actor bingo card.
That's
Because like Ashley Spillers is in like 4 or 5 movies. She plays Ellie in the movie, one of the friends who gets dragged along to their house party. Heather Kafka, she plays a small part. She was one of the leads in my last film. And that's the great thing about the Austin film community is like that's what we do. Like everybody works on each other's movies. Everybody's trying to help each other. Everybody wants to kind of like play around, and we trade actors. It's like so many of the actors that I put in the sort of supporting cast for this are people that I saw in my friends' movies, and I was like, wow, that person's really great. I want to work with them. And so for the local casting, we didn't have a casting director because between me and Megan Gilbride, the producer, like we just knew all these actors that we wanted to work with. So we called them up and like get them to come audition or just play around. So
Do you think this is going to be like kind of the next big place to start making movies?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's like my standard line is Austin is a great place to make movies. It's a terrible place to try to make a living making movies. So, because it's just like there's not that much paid work. There's so much work. Like there's so many movies being made. Like here at the festival, there's like 15, 16 movies that were shot in Texas that are playing here. but it's like all the stuff that's being made is like pretty low budget, you know. And this movie is, of those films that are playing here, is one of the bigger budgeted ones. But you know, by the standards of the movies these guys usually make or the TV shows, you know, they're pretty scrappy. We didn't have a ton of money, so I hope that will change. I hope that there's going to be more sort of money flowing into the Austin community. But you know, we'll see. But I mean, that's not going to stop the film community from making movies. I mean, it's like the creative energy is here, the spark is here, and people are going to do it, you know, no matter how much money they have. So.
And how is it going from that spark to like the spark you saw at the Paramount yesterday? Because it was very, very well received.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we had a feeling it was going to play well in Austin. I don't know why. Maybe because we shot it here. But I mean, yeah, it was insane. I mean, it was like such a great reaction. It was, you know, the reaction I, you know, dared to hope for throughout the shoot. But yeah, I mean, it was great, and it was so awesome to have this, you know, basically the whole cast here to see that and be part of that. You know, because yeah, it's like, you know, I want all of them to really, you know, love the movie and be happy with it. So, you know,
it was just really great to be included.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll get you a quick close up.
Okay.